Gotta give it up for Coach. Big shout out to the coaches. You see, my coach, he believed in me since jump.
And welcome to another edition of Tough Talk with Coach P. I, of course, am your man, Coach P, and I am so thrilled to be here with you today. Our last episode featured the incomparable, the legendary Mitchie Slick, and we talked about all things Lincoln High School. We also talked about Valencia Park and what it was like for him growing up, his Pop Warner experience, also why he is so dedicated to spreading the gospel of Lincoln High School. We also touched on how important Coach David Dunn is, not only to the kids that played at that school, but to the community at large. We also touched on some things about how we can work together in San Diego to ensure that these young athletes get all the greatness that they deserve. We kept that about San Diego and all the great things that they're doing over there at Lincoln. That was one of my greatest shows, and I really want to say thanks for Mitchie for coming on the show and really putting on for the city of San Diego. Today, we are going to switch gears a bit with our True2Self spotlight. Now, once or twice a month, we are going to spotlight a young athlete that is true to the grind, true to the process, but most importantly, true to self. And none other than the great Zac Benitez embodies all of those things. So he is going to be our guest with Tough Talk with Coach P today. So sit back, grab your popcorn, do whatever you got to do, get comfortable, find a comfortable spot, and get ready to be blown away by this great young man who has a great message and a great story. You are listening to Tough Talk with Coach P. I, of course, am your man, Coach P. We'll be right back.
For the ones putting in work when no one's watching. From the early risers to the late night ballers. Introducing Youngstar Creatine Gummies. The clean science-backed creatine gummy made for today's athlete. Boost strength, train harder, and recover faster. Youngstar, fueling today's future athlete. Youngstar.
And welcome back to Tough Talk with Coach P. I, of course, am your man, Coach P. And I'm here with a very, very special young man who is turning heads here in San Diego, Zac Benitez, the quarterback, all right, of Granite Hills High School. But he's definitely much more than that. That's what a lot of people know him as, but he's also a brilliant young man as well. Thank you so much for coming on the show. And tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us a little bit about this year's journey. Because I know it's separate from all the other ones. This one was a special one. Talk to me about this year.
This year was definitely a roller coaster. We had 3 losses on the road, so it kind of punched us in the chin. Definitely got our mindset right for the rest of the year, and then from there on, we didn't lose any more games. You know, we came back from CIF and won Division One. You know, open division was the goal, but you know, Division One is just as big. You know, we played Lincoln. You know, they're a well-coached team, talented team as well. But, you know, we came out on top and got the ring. And in regionals, we came up short, unfortunately, against a good team, Pacifica. You know, they came out hot. And, you know, we weren't expecting that. But, you know, we came back from a 21 deficit. You know, I'm proud of my guys for fighting back, definitely. You know, it's not the result that we wanted, but, you know, it was a really great season.
That's what's up. Now, you got Lincoln twice, right? Your freshman year.
Yes.
And then also this year, too. Talk to me. If that feels like a little rivalry now, talk to me about that.
I definitely say, like, it's, you know, hopefully, I consider it a rivalry, honestly, you know. Where, you know, it's 2 competitive teams going at it, and they've been very competitive games. You know, the open division came up 1 point, you know. Unfortunately, you know, they fumbled the ball, but, you know, it came in our, you know, hands, and you know, we came out on top. And then this year, you know, it was a great game as well. They came out firing, you know, but, you know, we didn't keep our heads down. We kept going. And then, you know, our defense made some crucial stops that got our offense on the field able to put up some points. And, you know, we came out on top again.
That's what's up. So I'm going to take our listeners back, right? Because we deal with a lot of youth. Like my thing, you know, I'm I don't know, man. I'm an arrogant bastard when it comes to this football stuff, right? But I use that for the youth, right?
Yes.
So talk to me about your youth journey. Who did you play for? Let people know who you played for, give them a shout out, and then talk about that, some of the coaches that you experienced during your youth and what that meant to you. Because, you know, coming into Granite Hills, starting as a freshman, that means you got a lot of good tutelage at the youth level, because that's just something that just doesn't happen. And then what you did as a freshman, it was just amazing. So talk about the youth journey, where it started, who you played for, talk about some of your coaches as well.
Well, for flag and 8U, I started off at Still Canyon because my older brothers, they played for Still Canyon growing up, and they also attended Still Canyon High School and played football there. So
Okay.
it was, at that moment in time, it was the right fit. And then, you know, as coaches, you know, as football started to get more serious for me, I know I was only 8 years old, but it was definitely something I foreseed in my future. I took a chance at Los Toros for 9U, and I stayed there 10U as well. Shout out Coach Robert Hall. You know, he's definitely one of the greatest coaches I've played with, and you know, he's, you know, supported me, and he still supports me to this day. You know, and then as you know, as those seasons went on, I wanted to, you know, be able to extend, you know, my how would I say this, like,
You wanted to play a little bit more high profile football, right? You wanted to get a little bit more exposure.
Okay. And you know, at that time, Balboa was one of the top teams in San Diego. And you know, I went out there for a practice, and you know, all the kids, they liked me. They were surprised about like how I was throwing, and they wanted me. They were asking if I was going to play for them. And I went with my parents, and my parents liked it as well. And then that's when we had Coach Cooper, Stephen Cooper. He's one of my greatest coaches as well. And then, you know, we made that move to Balboa, played with him, and then we made it to nationals that year as well. And you know, there's great players on that team. You know, a bunch of them. You know, some of them went to Lincoln. You know, some are at San Diego High, some are in college as of now. And you know, that was definitely one of the greatest teams I played with. And then the 12 years when COVID hit, so we weren't sure if football was really going to be, you know, being played. And then Coach Cooper and a bunch of other coaches, they came up with the program San Diego Bolts. That's one of the top programs in San Diego as of now currently.
Yeah.
And, you know, I played for them. It wasn't really my best year, 12 year. You know, I didn't get much playing time, but you know, when I got the playing time, I made it, you know, accountable for it, and I made plays definitely. But they went to nationals. I didn't go because I didn't want to have my parents put, you know, the money and time into it if I really wasn't gonna be able to perform and, you know, out there. And then third junior year, San Diego Bolts was still a thing, so you know, we stuck with it. And that year was probably like my best youth year. We had a different OC that year. It was Coach Ben. He's currently coaching at Cathedral.
Yes.
He's believed in me since 12 year at Bolts, but he didn't have that OC job as of that time. So he got the OC job finally, and then he's been telling me like I'm his guy. So we stuck with it that whole year, and it was definitely, you know, one of the greatest years. And a bunch of talented kids, you know, Bronx, Honor, Willie, Kai, like very talented.
Was all on that one team?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness! Wow.
Yeah, I think it's, you know, probably one of the best youth teams in San Diego history. To be honest, you know, a bunch of people argue for Terrasana, you know, El Cajon, when that was like Bonita, you know, all those youth teams back then. But I don't know. I think our team 13 was definitely up there.
Well, I'm going to throw one team in the hat. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's a Still Kane team that my son played for.
Yeah.
Okay. That I don't know, man. That might have been the best youth football team I've ever seen, man. Like they had those IE Ducks. They didn't want to play them. That's how good this team was. And they were real. They went to nationals, won nationals. I mean, it was crazy. I'm gonna throw that in there. But man, that team that you guys had, your 13U year, man, that sounds crazy. That sounds amazing.
The Standard is a youth mentorship program empowering young men ages 8 to 14 through athletics, personal growth, and structured guidance. Built on the values of discipline, teamwork, and integrity, The Standard connects sports with life lessons to help participants develop confidence, leadership, and strong character on and off the field.
So you have this great year, that last year playing youth football. Talk to me about the off-season stuff. how do you train? Because again, to come from youth football and then jump into high school football and make such a profound impact like that, it took a lot of I train quarterbacks as well. So I know a lot of this stuff is muscle memory. You got to throw the ball a lot. You have to do things over and over, and it's repetitive motion so that when you get in the game and things break down, you won't go back to what you always did. It becomes, natural for you to do. Talk to me about what the off seasons were like that prepared you for that first year of high school. And then going in, did you know you were going to be the starter, or did you know you were going to be able to compete?
Before we get into that, I had a 14-year as well because I had I had reclassified, the whole holdback with football and all that.
Well, okay, so
yeah.
Before we go any further, let's talk about that. What was the decision process where you decided this is what I'm going to do? I want to play another year, and then for that last year, the 14U year, where did you play?
It was definitely a big decision, between me and my mom and my dad. We weren't really sure if it was the right decision, but now that I think about it, it was definitely the right decision. It gave me
no question about it.
No question about it. Yeah, I definitely suggest it. If you have the opportunity to do it. It gives you another year for preparation. Mentally and physically get stronger for high school level, and it gives you a better opportunity to be at the varsity level for sure. But it took a little while for us to make that decision. But we ended up, committing to it and made it happen. And then I attended a sports academy in Temecula, Limitless Sports Academy. Coach, I think Devin Walker. Yeah. Coach Walker, yes. One of my guys as well. He took me in, introduced me to the other athletes that were there, showed me around, and, my parents, they liked it a lot. So we made that commitment out there. And then when it came to football wise, at this point, AYF was kind of dying out as far as 14U teams. So we weren't really sure about who we were going to play for, or if I was going to play football that year and just stick to strictly training. But then we went to they call them the OG Ducks now instead of IE Ducks. So we went out there, practiced with them for a little bit, but it was just too much, too many quarterbacks. There was 4 or 5 quarterbacks, including myself. And, they were all about the hype and all of that. So I didn't really get the opportunity. And then we looked for Pop Warner teams in San Diego. We went to the Vaqueros, and then we went to Rancho Bernardo, and then we went to La Costa Canyon. That's where Coach Nick Barnett was. And my parents liked it there a lot. He was very welcoming. The kids, they were really welcoming as well. They introduced me to them. And then, I got into practice with them, and I liked the offense that they had, and the Coach Nick really trusted me a lot because he's heard about me and my youth as well.
Right.
And then, that was a great year as well. We had a tight end, Mark Bowman. He's currently going to USC for Mater Dei up north. Yeah. And then, Travis Jeffrey, he's at Carlsbad currently. And then a couple other athletes on that team. We ended up winning the championship, as well. I think we played, it was Escondido Wolverines or something like that. They had some talented guys, but I think the final score was 28-0. And then we ended up going to regionals in Arizona, ended up losing, but, it was a great team, a great year, definitely got me prepared for high school coming up, being able to get more reps. And then when the off season came, throughout the 14th year, I was going to high school games, multiple high school games, seeing how the environment was, how the coaching was players, and just the community in general to, decide where I'm going to go. Because when I go to a school, I want to be able to stay there for all 4 years. I don't want to transfer out. I'm all about loyalty and trusting the process and all of that. And then, I went to a couple of Granite games, and that year they ended up winning state. So they definitely they were definitely up there in my top decisions, and talked to the coach a little bit, and then talked to some of the players, talked to their quarterback. How is it playing there? What is school wise as well, as far as counseling? How do they help you? And that's when I talked with my parents, and we ended up making that decision to go there. It was a lot, definitely making that commitment, but it's lead to all the success that I've had these all 3 years. And it's all thanks to my coaches and all the other players, the seniors from the class of 23, class of 24, and the seniors this year, definitely.
You don't just show up, You show out every damn day. This ain't your average energy boost. Young Star Energy Gummies give today's future athletes clean fuel with real results. No jitters, no crash, just straight up energy and faster bounce back. Clinically shown to support energy, muscle recovery, and cellular health. Young Star, stay lit, recover quick, and level up.
Well, let me say this, because, I'm listening to, you talk, and I'm listening to how every decision was a decision that, you were able to, and you felt comfortable enough bringing to your parents, and you guys made that decision together. Talk about how important it is because I would classify you as a superstar athlete, right?
Yes, sir.
I mean, look at you. I know you don't feel that way about yourself, but you are. Okay.
Yes, sir.
But talk about how important that is to have the support of your parents with these decisions, because these are difficult decisions that arguably could change the arc of your life, right?
Yes.
So you want to make sure that you make the best decision. Talk about how important that is to be able to have that comfortability, to be able to bring these things with your parents and make these decisions as a family.
It's definitely a huge thing. They've been my backbone since I was a baby, supporting me throughout my football career. I wouldn't be here without them. They've put me in the right positions, and then try to look for better opportunities to get me out there more, as far as, getting my name out there, definitely. But, having them too, and be able to talk to them about like the decision I'm going to make that could like really determine like where my future is and how it'll play out. Everybody has a different path, but it's a great blessing. I love them very much, and, shout out to them as well. But without them, I wouldn't be here and have the success that I have today.
Definitely. It definitely shows. They did a very good job, as it relates to raising you. I've seen you from afar, just because, I know KB and all those guys. I go way back with Akili. I've come out to some of the fast camps trainings. I see how you interact with the wide receivers. I see how you interact with players that are not on your team. I see the leadership. Talk about that part of it, leadership. How did you develop that at such a young age? Because still, even with the whole back year coming in, starting as a freshman, beating Lincoln in the championship, and at that point, that was, nobody saw that coming. You understand what I'm saying? So talk to me about that part of it. Leadership. How did you develop that? Where did that come from?
I think I developed it like, playing the quarterback position, having to know everybody's assignment, and then having to deal with like how everybody's like, how their emotions are, understanding different people and their personalities, definitely helped me get a better understanding of how to like interact with people, for sure. And then, I'd say freshman year, my leadership level wasn't as high, because, there's a bunch of seniors, and, I wouldn't say I looked up to them, but, they were definitely like, setting me up to like where I would be right for the next year to take up the leadership spot. And then, sophomore year, I definitely, took more leadership in that year. And then this year, for sure, we had a bunch of graduating seniors last year. And, we have a bunch of seniors this year as well, but I definitely took the leadership spot as far as offensively and, for the team as well. And then, this coming up year, the leadership role was definitely mine. I got to make sure everybody's right, and make sure we're on track. Last time we won state was my 8th grade year when I wasn't playing. So I want to get that state championship, another one for the school as well. So leadership is definitely one of my key things. I make sure everyone's doing the right thing, and I hold everybody accountable for their mistakes. And of course, I hold myself accountable. If I can't hold myself accountable, I can't hold others accountable. So I make sure I'm doing the right thing. So I set the standards for everybody else. Absolutely.
Now, me personally, I'm as a coach, as a father, I'm big on accountability. I hold those around me accountable, and I implore everyone around me also to hold me accountable, because that's the way that we all win. Accountability, discipline, those type of things. So I want to find out, we know you're a great athlete. We know you're a great football player, but what are you into off the field, right? What are some of the things that you like to do that don't have anything to do with football at all?
That's kind of hard. I play a lot. I play some video games and but it's mainly, football games, NCAA or Madden. Those are my big,
Right.
and I like to take the spot that I'm the best player.
Right.
I'm very competitive when it comes to that, but I like spending quality time with my family. And I have a younger sister as well, so spending time with her is, it's my everything. She's who I do this for, definitely. Other than that, I like spending time with friends, teammates, going out to eat, bowling, to the beach, just spending quality time with people that I love.
Okay. Okay. And then also too, as far as school is concerned, because pretty soon, you're gonna have to make a really big decision here. What are you into in terms of off the field, in terms of education wise? What are some of the things that you're looking to lean in? Because, with the structure of the NCAA now, with NIL money, where it's not, how can I say, it's not, if you're one of those top guys, you don't have to rush to get to the league, right? So I always implore those guys, take advantage of that situation. Why not leave with an advanced degree before you go to, the NFL, and stay there, play football, develop, and get paid to do it? So what are some of the things you're into in terms of education wise that maybe you would be leaning towards, majoring in when you get to the next level?
I'm still, undecided as far as where I want to major, but I have some ideas. It's like, I'd say nursing.
Okay.
I'll take that from my mom right now. She's a RN, and, I'll follow her footsteps, and then something along like business or like real estate. I really like that, but I'm still undecided as of now. I still have another year to really make sure I know what I want to do.
Okay. So if I polled your teachers, what would they say about you?
Uh, I'm very, quiet when it comes to classrooms. I don't like to be out loud, and I get my work done, definitely.
Okay. All right. All right. So now we know we're in the off season right now. 7-on-7 season is about to start. Talk to me about that. Where are you training? Who are you training with? Who are you playing with 7-on-7 this year? And talk to me about that.
Currently training with Akili and Danny Hernandez, LA guy. And then as far as 7-on-7, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be playing for Premium LA. Yeah, their coach had reached out to me. I went out there for their media day, and I got to get in front of the guys that's like that are associated with 24/7 Rivals. The guys that do those rankings and all of that. So yeah, and he talked to my parents as well. He talked to my parents before we even made a decision or anything. Went out there for a practice, and I really liked it. Like the culture, like the coach, how he coached. So I think I'm really going to be playing with Premium this year.
I'm gonna tell you something. I think that's a good move. Those guys at Premium, I mean, they put some big time guys out. As far as the media and exposure, it's gonna be right. And also too, I think they really care about the athletes. And I'm sure when your parent, that's the sentiment that your parents got too. Like, oh man, these guys really care. They're gonna look out for you and all that other good stuff, because making that commitment to go out there is and you seem like the type that you want to participate, you want to be at practice and stuff like that. So again, I have to take my hat off to your parents, because making that commitment, and again, I've been a football dad. I know how that is. I know how that is. So it's a tremendous sacrifice. So I might put a little bit more praise on your parents than I'm gonna put on you, actually.
Definitely.
I think I might do that. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
The Standard is a youth mentorship program empowering young men ages 8 to 14 through athletics, personal growth, and structured guidance. Built on the values of discipline, teamwork, and integrity, The Standard connects sports with life lessons to help participants develop confidence, leadership, and strong character on and off the field.
So before I let you go, man, talk to me about what the goals are. And in this situation, I would like for you to be as selfish as possible, right? Like, what are some of the goals, individual wise and team wise?
Talk about the team first. Main goal is state championship. Came up short these past 3 years in regionals, and it hurts, definitely. I think this year was the opportunity to get it, but unfortunately we didn't. But the main goal is state championship. And I'm gonna praise that throughout the whole year to my team. State championship, state championship, state championship. That's what we need, and that's what we got to get. League is obviously one of the goals as well, and CIF. But coming up short, one game from state is not where we have to be. We have high standards for the program that we have, and then individual, I would say definitely like another 3,000 plus passing yard season. I think right now, currently, I'm like second or third in San Diego history for passing yards. So I'm trying to secure either that first or second spot, and then trying to get at least a 4 or 5-star rating. Currently a 3-star. Definitely get more offers. And I would like to commit either as football season starts or a little bit in football season. I don't want to, commit too early or commit too late. I want to make sure the spot is right. And
Okay.
yeah, that's pretty much it as far as goals.
Okay. But what about that silver pigskin?
Oh yeah. No, I forgot about that. Yeah. That silver pigskin, it'd be honored to win that as well.
Yes. I'll say this. That I think you'll definitely come into the season as one of the front runners if you reach those goals that you set, which I definitely believe are attainable going into your senior year. Also with the experience that you're going to gain playing with premium. I mean, we know 7-on-7. I mean, I'm an old school football coach. You know what I'm saying? So we know 7-on-7 is what it is, right?
Yeah.
But it's about competing against that caliber of athlete that sharpens the mind. You know what I'm saying? That I think that you're really going to enjoy up there. So, man, I think the world of you, man. Again, you started this section that we have. There were a lot of athletes that reached out to me now that the show is gaining a little bit more popularity. But I said, nah, man, it's only one guy I'm gonna start this thing off with, man, and that's Zac. So I wanted to make sure that we did that. Lastly, one thing that I want to touch, and I really just want to get, your opinion on this, as a youth athlete or as a young athlete, rather, NIL.
Yeah.
Okay? I just want to get your opinion on it. All right. You ain't got to let no cats out of the bag or nothing like that. Okay. And I think I might have saw you in a Ferrari, but maybe I'm tripping. I don't know. Right. But, how do you feel about that? How do you feel? And I'm just asking as a football purist with the way the portal works and the way NIL works from the athlete's perspective. Just give me your opinion, whatever that is, on the NIL and transfer portal process that you see permeating through the NCAA.
I think NIL is not really the best. It gives players that they give them the opportunity to go to a school just for the NIL. They're not there for the team, to be winning. They're just there for, the NIL that's thrown at them from the coach.
Right.
And I don't think it's fair for high school kids as well. As far as the portal, it's gone crazy this year and these past couple of years. I looked into it. And for quarterbacks specifically, there was 190 college transfers last year. And that's absurd. And it's not fair for high school kids, because the coach can just go, oh, we need a guy. We're going to go look at the portal, pick him up, maybe throw some money at him to make him commit. I don't think it's right, at this time and age. But it's a good thing as well, too, because it gives guys more hunger, to making it at the next level. Because now you're not only competing against high school kids, you're competing against JUCO and college players as well. Because, a guy from Alabama can go to Ohio State, seen it happen multiple times. But, my opinion on it, I don't think it's the right thing to do at this point in time. Now it's more of a business and kids are just doing it for the money. You got to do it for the love of the game. And that's why I'm doing it for the love of the game. So NIL is it's too much going on. And the same thing with the portal as well.
I love it. All right. Now, this time next year, I'm going to have you back on when they throwing bags of money at you, and I'm going to see if your opinion is the same. Okay?
It's there.
But yeah, man. So I was going to ask you, about what school you're leaning to, but I'm not going to ask you that because at this point in the process, you know, I don't want anything you say to be used against you in a court of law. So I'm just going to leave that right there. I appreciate you, young man. I'm going to get with you sometime here shortly to get you the True to Self t-shirt. Before I let you go, man, what do you want to tell our listeners about what they can expect this year? And, I'm going to start it off by they better get their popcorn ready. You know what I'm saying? Because, I know this season is going to be crazy. And I know the goals that you're working to reach, the individual goals are going to just propel the team. So it's quite refreshing to talk to a quarterback of your stature that is humble and approaches the game the right way. Again, I'm an old school coach, so I don't like diva quarterbacks. I like grinders. I mean, a little diva is okay. You know what I'm saying? You got to believe in yourself now. I like an arrogant guy. You understand what I'm saying? But with a hint of humility, and it feels like you have that. So I'm definitely a fan. If there's anything that I can do to help you, it's a phone call away. Please tell your parents, man, that they did an amazing job and they should definitely be proud. You have been watching Tough Talk with Coach P. We got the man, the myth, the legend here, and he's going to do big things this year. Anything you want to say before I let you go?
Nah, you covered up pretty much everything, Thank you for this opportunity.
Absolutely.
Being the first one to lead this, segment, it's a blessing. Thank you.
Absolutely, man. There is another show here in San Diego that might want you to do that announcement on their show. Okay. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna put my bid in. Okay. I'm just gonna put my bid in when you're ready to announce, and I'll just leave that there. I just put it out there. You can come here first and announce here first.
Yes, sir.
All right, young brother. I appreciate you. Definitely you're going to be in my prayers, man. I think you're going to do everything that you said you're going to do. And, I'll be watching, man. I appreciate you. Thanks for coming on.
Yes, sir. Thank you. God bless.
All right. God bless you too, brother.
For the ones putting in work when no one's watching. From the early risers to the late night ballers. Introducing Youngstar, creatine gummies. The clean science-backed creatine gummy made for today's athlete. Boost strength, train harder, and recover faster. Youngstar, fueling today's future athlete. Youngstar.
And welcome back to Tough Talk with Coach P. Thank you so much for listening to the show. Also, if you have not subscribed to us on Spotify, please subscribe to us right now as you're listening to this so that you will be kept abreast of everything that we have going on here at Tough Talk with Coach P. We have had an absolute amazing show today. This young man, Zac Benitez, is a great young player. He opened my eyes a bit about how he feels about NIL. And again, we'll see what happens next year when someone backs that Brinks truck up to him and says, hey, come play for our school. But right now, he has the right attitude. I believe this young king is going to reach his goals both on and off the field. Comes from a great family, and shout out to mom and dad. You guys did an absolutely amazing job on this young man, and you should be proud. Coach P is going to definitely be watching, and if there's anything, young Zac, that you need from me that I can do from you, it is a phone call away. Thank you so much for coming on to the show, and thank you so much for listening to our True to Self Spotlight. Also, please remember to like and share this video. Like and share this content. Please follow us on Spotify. It does not cost you anything. Go right now. Follow us on Spotify at Tough Talk with Coach P. Also, follow us on all social medias. Coach P Tough Talk. That's at Coach P Tough Talk. Follow us on all social media platforms as well. You are listening to Tough Talk with Coach P. I'm out.
Gotta give it up for Coach. Big shout out to the coaches. Shout out to the coaches. You see, my coach, he believed in me since jump. I'm a product of his coaching. Gotta give it up for Coach. Big shout out to the coaches. Shout out all the coaches. Yeah. You see, my coach, he believed in me since jump. I'm a product of his coaching. Gotta give it up for Coach.